Do not do this in a street fight. 99% of motherfuckers make this mistake and it might get you killed. So what did I do wrong? I treated it like a boxing match. I got in a boxing stance, like what you would think is a fight stance. A boxing stance is designed for a boxing match. That's like up to 12 rounds of 3 minutes, where there's rules, where you've only got 2 weapons, where you can only hit certain parts of their body, where there's a ring, where there's a referee. And a boxing match is what? Striking someone with 2 hands only. It doesn't account for grappling or anything like that. Versus a self-protection scenario where there are none of those things. You've got an alien environment, you've got unstable surfaces, you've got weapons, you've got multiple people, you've got no rules at all. It's life or death, and it's gonna be over very, very quickly. So for that reason, you do not want to treat a street fight encounter and a self-protection scenario like a boxing match. So what do you do instead? I will now show you. So in a self-defense situation or self-protection situation, there's only 2 options. One is get away and don't even engage it. That would be the smart thing to do, because you literally can't win a street fight ever. Even if you beat the guy up, you're potentially going to go to prison. You might have to live with the conscience of someone else's death on your hands. And if you get hurt, you get injured, you can't work, you can't earn, you can't provide for your family, and it hurts. You get what I mean? So street fighting's for twats. Or number 2 is you finish it as literally quickly as possible by any means necessary. Those are your only 2 options when it comes to actual self-protection. Right, so assuming you've tried to get away and you can't, let's look at actually what you do, which is change your stance completely. We are basically, in fighting, there's 2 principal stances. You've got bladed, which looks like this, where you're side on, where you turn your body and you minimize your target. Second is square, where you open yourself up like that. For actual self-protection, conversely to what you might think, square it is much better for many reasons. Check my other video about how you know when someone's going to attack you, because the pre-fight is just as important as the actual fight itself. For now, we'll look at the actual fight itself. Go watch this video if you want to look at the pre-fight, how to detect threats, how to avoid a fight before it even starts, how to know when someone's going to attack you. But for now, let's assume that all of that's already happened. You've made the decision to fight. You've decided, I can't get away. I now have to finish this as soon as I can. So a lot of this square stance versus bladed stance is going to be counterintuitive, especially ironically the more you've trained sports fighting. So the more that you've trained boxing and like Muay Thai or anything like that, this is going to be a bit counterintuitive. So you want to square yourself up, and you might think, well, that's opening me up more. Yes, but it's also helping you cover your body more. It's helping you move laterally more. It's helping you see more. It's helping you maneuver and keep your hips safe more. So that's the first benefit of staying square like this. Also, when you stay square, you can negate more of their weapons. So when the attacker comes towards me, I can keep him away. If he starts swinging straight away, that I can block out here and parry more there. So when I'm square, if he comes towards me, I've got a frame here that I can use to push away. I can use my low line kicks like this. I can still do all of the stuff that I would do if I was side on, but I stay more balanced. I can detect his other weapons. So if he now starts say you start punching me, if he starts punching me, I can still parry, I can still block like that. Go back. If he starts kicking me, I can still check here. I can still move like this. Say he starts, say he goes to like take me down, for example, I can keep my hips backwards like that. I can sprawl on top of him. So whilst I can block like this, catch, keep my hips back, I can also still attack in the ways that I would in a bladed stance. A really important point, I can see as well. I can see if there's multiple people coming. For now, we're talking generally about one-on-one. Most street fights, there's going to be more than one person. His girlfriend, your girlfriend, passers-by, animals, dogs, kids, whatever, cars. So I need to be able to see all of that and maneuver around it. Also, when I'm squarer, I can maintain my balance better. The floor might be uneven, there might be a pavement here, there might be a curb, trip over that, you can regain your balance. So that's why I want to stay square versus bladed. If I try all of that bladed, I've got more risk of crossing my feet, more risk of getting overwhelmed like this. I can't defend kicks as well. I can't see here as well either. Look, I can't even see over there. As soon as I'm square, my peripherals can detect more. Do you see that? So that's why I want to stay square. Point number 1 is see more and protect more of yourself. Point number 2 is be first, move first. Do not react, don't wait for him. At this point, assuming you're actually fighting for real, you've already made the mental decision. I don't care about prison. I don't care about killing a guy. I have to do what I can to be safe. I've tried everything. Go watch my other video about how to de-escalate and how to protect yourself with words and situational awareness. Assuming that hasn't worked, you have to be willing to take life now. You have to be willing to see this person as a guy that's going to try to take your life, because it's completely ridiculous that someone would just attack you in these situations. Like when someone decides to put their hands on you and threaten you like that, you have to meet them with the highest possible consequences to negate that. Do you get what I'm saying? And it's a horrible thing, which is why I personally avoid all street fights all the time, because I know where violence can go and I absolutely hate it. I don't want any part of that. Assuming that you can't get away, you have to be willing to now do really horrible shit, which means you have to move first and you blitzkrieg the motherfucker before they can attack you. One of the worst mistakes is going, hey, is not making that switch in your mind, not being decisive enough and not erecting your boundary and going, that's it, fuck this guy, I'm gonna kill him before he can hurt me and my family. The worst mistake is trying to de-escalate it as you can see, he's going to hurt you, especially if he's got weapons or something like that. If he's got weapons or he's really intent on hurting you and you're still in the mode of avoiding the fight and you haven't yet switched into actual fighting, you're going to die. There was a famous horrible video of a guy in New York like a year or two ago where his girlfriend's just watching him getting shanked to death and he's literally saying to the guy, come on man, calm down. Come on man, calm down. Like, and the guy's literally putting a knife in him as he's telling him to calm down. So you have to decide to go first. You have to decide to go first and shut this guy down and be willing to do whatever it takes before he has the chance to do it to you. So again, we go back to our first stance now, one sec. In terms of the biomechanics of how to fight in street fighting situations, one bit of advice I'll give that's really going to be helpful is tune into the mind of a predator and watch like a big cat or a dog or something like that, or a bear before it goes and hunts something, a gorilla. What do? They all get low. So this is doing two things. One, you're creating an aura of readiness and you're telling the guy, I'm going to f you up. So if my threat goes back, if the threat goes back here, and as he comes towards me, I've quickly made the decision that I'm going to engage this guy, I'm going to neutralize him ASAP, like a fucking special forces operator. I'm straight away going to go low here. One sec. So it's slightly bladed, slightly square, whatever works for you. And this comes with training. The more you train martial arts yourself, the more style, like the more you'll understand biomechanics of striking and what to do. But my point is just get ready. Don't come up don't be all up here where you've got no purchase off the floor to throw your strikes against, to brace yourself against, to grapple against. You need purchase and force and balance off the floor to implement your will against your opponent. So point number one is it creates aura, it creates readiness, it shows that you're like an actual credible threat to them. And two, like I said, it creates kinetic potential for you to actually be a physical threat to them, for you to actually direct force into them. So as I see the threat coming towards me, like even just a little preload like this, little preload here, is going to be enough for me to generate force into him versus just being upright and neutral like this. Now a second point in terms of striking first is realizing that all fights are going to end up in a clinch. All street fights are going to end up in, come here. All fights are going to end up in some sort of grappling exchange where he's either holding my head. I mean, Henry's a trained Muay Thai fighter, so he's going to know to do this. But most people will pull their hair, they'll pull the shirt like that. They'll be doing something, this kind of thing, like some kind of grabbing like that. It's going to end up in some sort of grappling. So that's one thing to bear in mind. It's very rare that in like street fighting, you're gonna land just like a one-punch knockout, that like you're gonna hit some kind of check hook on someone and drop them. Like, it's very unusual. And also, you're likely going to break your hands if you punch someone. Like, in the chaos of a street fight when there's real life consequences, you get so much adrenaline that it's hard to pick your spot on someone. You're often going to bounce your knuckle on someone's head, you can break your hand. So another point with this strike first thing, I generally advise to use your palms like this, because there's less chance of it breaking. It's still very hard, and you've got the bonus of maiming and tearing. So I want to hit and then grab and strike like this, and we're going to come on to another point about where to strike in a minute. So what this actually looks like, threat's coming towards me, load, and then I've got a position on him. If you look what actually happened, by the way, there's tons of, I'm not going to choreograph every situation in a street fight. I'm going to come on to like the kind of things that will happen in a sec. My point is to just watch what I'm doing. Like, I'm loading here and I'm ready before he can do something. There, boom. You get what I mean? Like, tons of different moves. Even if I wasn't going to strike him, I might want to just low single him like that. Boom. I might want to go for a shot. I might fake a strike and just blast double him backwards. I might just stamp there and then just start striking like this and then grabbing into whatever I want to do. My point is, I'm the one meeting him from this sort of loaded squarish position like that. I'm the one instigating. I'm not letting him do again, come at me and then having to react on the back foot. Ideally, that's not what you want. The one caveat to this, is there are some schools of self-defense and some techniques, which is where you misdirect. You try and diffuse, let him think he can do something, then just quickly shut him down. Then just quickly do something at like a split second thing, boom, Like this is more like, you've got to be very good to do that. You've got to really know what you're doing, be really, really precise, and not miss the damaging target that you're going to try and grab. It's a bit of a bullshit thing in my opinion. Is like out of all the street fights that I've personally got experience with,
it relies a lot on fine motor skills.
It requires fine motor skills, real fine practice, and kind of being lucky to pull it off. Like you've got to be really good to do it. Most street fights are macro. It's like big swinging. It's like so much adrenaline happens. Most of us aren't soldiers. Like to be able to pull this off, you basically got to be like living a life like Jason Bourne, where you're like training to fucking rip someone's eye out, like that chick from Kill Bill. Like it's unusual you're going to do it. Most street fights involve alcohol, stress, busy environments. Like it's big macro shit. So I'm just teaching you high probability stuff that is going to work, that you can pick up quickly. Having said that, there is a lot of what I just said there and what I just demonstrated. Say he's coming towards me. If you can just jam something in their eye, you can jam something in the throat, you can just quickly kick the balls. Those are just 3 targets really quick that will get you a result. Literally just poke someone.
He poked me in the eye. Captain Insano shows no mercy.
Well, I'm saying if you can do it, do it. But the thing I'm showing you here is more like when it's on, like they're walking towards you, what do? You know what I mean? If you miss that and then they just quickly, if they're intent on crashing you with an elbow, if you come and smash you with an elbow and I like miss that and I miss this poke, I'm gonna get clatted with an elbow. So I'm saying like be ready here and just meet them head on. The style, by the way, is monkey style kung fu, like the chaotic monkey style, like just swiping, grabbing, headbutting, chewing, biting, all this kind of thing. So this leads on to point number 3. So we've looked at be square, move first. Point number 3 is do not apply rules. You want to fight like a chimpanzee, in my opinion. Chimpanzees don't give a shit about rules. They're going to bite your nose off. They're going to do what's unfair. They're going to team up. They're going to pull your hair. They're going to pull you in the nuts. They're going to do everything they can to just overwhelm you. That's what you want to do. You want to flood their nervous system and spike their cortisol to the point they're like, yo, f this. I wish I started on this guy. And guess what monkeys do? They go low as well. So that's why I'm saying go low. So you come to me, I'm low, boom, boom, boom. I'm just overwhelming him like this, and I'm being as literally as vicious as I possibly can, and not applying any rules at all. So I'm looking straight away to actually grab his nuts, to actually like come into the most horrible parts of his body, like the backs of his knees, like literally grabbing him. Like, oh mate, I'll grab his taint. I don't give a fuck. I'll throw my fingers in someone's eyes if it's a street fight. I actually don't care. Like I'll bite. Here. As soon as I can see his neck, I'm trying to chew it. I'm not even joking, like come back. This is one of like the most dangerous things I ever did once when I was like really on drugs. Like literally, I see someone's neck, immediately, most people are like trying to punch or like headbutt. I look at that and well, if I go into this mode, I want to taste the softness of their neck, and I want to taste like copper, you know, the copper taste of blood. Like that's the thing that goes through my head. I'm like, if this guy's actually gonna try to fight me, I want to literally taste blood coming out of his neck, and I'm willing to like actually chew this off. So like, I'm actually trying to bite that. The cartilage of a nose, like I'm actually trying to bite someone's nose. I don't really care about striking like this. I care about fucking ripping him apart. So pick all the spots that are basic. Here's the tip. Go through all the rules of boxing, see what's illegal and will get you disqualified, and do them in a street fight. That is hitting in the balls, kicking in the balls, kneeing in the balls, grabbing the throat, headbutting, elbowing, chewing, doing all the shit you're not allowed to do. Fully Mike Tyson, the guy's face off, for real. And look at the reputation Mike Tyson got. He's the guy that bit someone's ear off. Oh my God, he's so scary. Like, yes, you want to do the shit that scares people 100%. This fucking idiot's the one who's decided it's going to go to this place. So make him regret it is the point. It's a mindset thing as well. So point number 4, so we've had be square, move first, pick all the illegal spots that traditionally you would never hit in a sports setting and that society tells you not to hit, and be chaotic. And underpinning that point of being chaotic is point number 4, which is get it over with as soon as you can and be as vicious as you can. This is not like, oh, I've got to pace myself for 5 rounds over 3 minutes and take it easy in the first minute and see what he's got. Nah, f that. You want, like most street fights statistically, I think they last like 15 seconds max, like 5 to 15 seconds or something. Maybe not even that, like 3 seconds. Like this shit has to be over ASAP. You don't want to be here. Like there's nothing cool about street fighting, nothing desirable about it. So that's why you go to all those points that we talked about, the illegal spots, be chaotic and just get it over and done with ASAP. So, and that's where that other thing that I talked about with like the eye poke and like just doing the horriblest thing as quickly as you can is quite useful. So Henry comes towards me, boom, 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 here, boom, like straight away, my finger. Go again. Henry comes towards me, load it, like straight away. All I'm thinking about is putting my hard points of my body into something soft. No homo. I'm genuinely doing it. I'm thinking I want softness. I want to feel his soft, sensitive bits, a throat, an eye, a nose, a mouth. I want to fish hook him. I want to go for his ears, any of the soft parts of his face, his throat, whatever, as soon as I can, as viciously as I can. I head, like my head into his nose, knee into the bollocks, and I'm literally going to look like I'm going to kiss him, but I'm just going to rip his face. I'm going to actually bite him off whilst I'm clamping into his face. Look, so this is another thing that I've done, which is kind of horrible. Look. So he's coming at me, I'm like, boom, like straight away here. My fingers are gonna be going behind his temple, one into his ear here, thumbs in his eyes, and I'm actually opening my mouth up to try and bite him like that, to actually headbutt him, to actually rip this. And I'm throwing like Osoto Gary's and shit onto the floor, slamming his head onto the floor. Like I'm doing whatever I can to get it over with as soon as I possibly can. Here's why, by the way, and this is a really important concept I'm gonna tell you. Training for sports like MMA, kickboxing, Muay Thai, boxing, isn't always good for street fighting. The closest I ever came to dying was when I had a street fight on the seafront with a friend of mine where there was 4 guys and there was 2 of us. I was like a month out from my own MMA fight, so I've been training every day. I went out for his birthday. I never used to drink when I was training, but I would still go out and meet people. And my friends would always push me in front of, like, anytime it kicked off, which it always did, they'd always push me in the front because I was the one that knew how to fight. So anyway, we go out and lo and behold, like we're on the seafront, it's like 1 in the morning. These 4 kids, like we start fighting these 4 kids, and I had one of them, 2 of them were on my friend, and then one of them was like further away in the distance. So I saw him coming towards me, but look, if you get up, I literally instinctively, because bearing in mind, every session that I've been training, every day of my life leading up to this point for like the past 2 years, every day I've been going to the gym, I've been sparring, we've been drilling. Like you're just used to fighting someone in this context where it's one-on-one, there's rules, you've got pads or whatever, you know you can't hit them in the balls. Like I straight away, even though it was a street fight, my immediate instinct was boom, low kick him. It was to cross him in the body like this. I threw my low kick, step back, crossed him in the body and step back out. I could see he didn't know how to fight in that moment. So I had my MMA sports brain on. In that moment, I didn't switch on the violence, all the stuff that I'm telling you about now. I was still very much in sport mode. So I was like, yeah, I'm checking him out, I'm assessing him. I didn't do point number 3 and 4, where I was being chaotic, where I was trying to get it over and done quickly. I wasn't doing that stuff. I was taking my time, like getting a read, seeing what he would do if I feinted him, like this. Guess what? I smashed him, hit him with a few things, felt really good about it, and I actually kicked him with a sick body kick. I hit him so good with a Muay Thai kick like this. He went backwards, but I then tripped up as well, because I was wearing these trainers that, like, again, footwear, unstable environment I wasn't used to training in. I don't usually practice in fucking Nikes. So I kicked him, he fell over, I fell over at the same time. I immediately used my jiu-jitsu instinct, got on top, knee on bellied him, and in the moment I felt great. I was like, yeah, I'm controlling this guy. If this was MMA, I'd be winning, which is true. Guess what? It wasn't MMA, and guess what? For about 2 seconds later, I felt like an atom bomb had gone off in my head. I felt my whole head explode. It was like, if you ever done poppers, it was that feeling. You know when you get that rush of poppers, like, I was like, yo, what the f, like NOS, like, what is it, laughing gas. My whole head just blew up, it felt like. I saw stars, couldn't see anything. Someone had hit me from behind. His friend, the one that I told you about that I completely forgot about, he came and smashed me from behind with some sort of object. I was bleeding, and I nearly died because I was so rocked. I went on my back, he got up again, he started jumping on my face, his friend started jumping on my face. One of the other guys that had been fighting my friend, the 2 of them, one of them came over and started jumping on my face. I suddenly went from beating someone up in an MMA fight where I was looking really good to getting my face stamped in by 3 people. So you've got to understand, you have to shift. Sports fighting isn't necessarily good for street fighting. It can actually work against you. Like me in that moment, I was thinking about rules, thinking about context of sports. It isn't sport. So point number 5 now is embrace the grappling. A street fight, I mentioned it earlier, but all street fights will end up in some kind of grappling. It is so rare and unusual that you're just gonna land like some good knockout on someone. You're gonna land some fucking like Manny Pacquiao overhand. You get what I mean? Like, it's very, very unlikely. It's very unlikely you're just gonna hit this like perfect knockout punch. he might knock himself out. He might just do your job for you. But like, it's unusual you're gonna just land this one blow, especially if you've only ever trained in gloves as well. Most people don't realize this. Most like entrepreneurs and like guys that aren't naturally scrappy, they go to boxing class at like 25 years old for the first time. They might do boxing for 5 years and go, I can protect myself and my family now. Guess what? They've been training with wraps and gloves, 12-ounce gloves, 16-ounce gloves every time they spar for 5 years. Try to punch someone bare knuckle. See the difference? It is a completely different sport altogether. The whole thing changes. So it's a lot harder to knock someone out than you actually think in the chaos of a moment. It can be done, of course, with training, but like you have to train that scenario. Like this is why people talk shit about karate, but karate is good. Like say he's coming towards me, boom, boom, like my ability to place a fist, I mean like he's trained, he knew to block that, but like my ability to like actually place a fist in somewhere that's gonna knock him out, a temple, a jaw, it's quite difficult, especially in the chaos of a moment when you've got like adrenaline and stuff like that and you can't see as clearly as you normally can. Another little tip there is if you want to train street fighting, actually train street fighting. Go to like a combatives class. Not like, go to your local college and just start like fucking throwing shit at kids in the playground and make them come out and fight you. Like, no, but go to a combatives class. You want to simulate noise, violence, like chaos, like fight or flight. You need to actually train your endocrine system. Mate, my teacher he said to me like, drink. He once made me drink vodka and he was like, now try and train. Like genuinely, it's you got to try and train. You got to replicate the actual scenario if you want to get good at it. Yeah, so anyway, point number 5. Embrace the grappling. So it's going to be scrappy. Like you've tried throwing your shots, you've tried doing whatever to negate it, but look, already we're in here. There's already going to be this scrappiness inevitably. This is going to happen, like 100% going to happen. So you've got to know what to do here. You have to have some sort of competence and confidence in this situation. If you're not used to this, you should not be even entertaining the idea of ever being in any type of violence. If you've never trained like Muay Thai clinch to any level, any type of wrestling, stay the fuck away from violence because it's just not something, this situation here is not good if you don't know what you're doing. So, I mean, I'm not gonna go through every grappling technique right now, but my point is, expect this to happen and have some sort of framework with which to defend yourself in these moments. A quick place to start is watch my video like Muay Thai clinch for beginners. The Muay Thai clinch is the #1, in my opinion, technique you can learn for any type of street protection because you don't end up on the floor. The worst place you can ever be on a street fight is actually on the floor. Like you don't end up on the floor, but you're still gonna be able to control and stay safe in these positions here. Boom, bang, bang, boom, boom, here, back, knees, push, push. Yeah, exactly, push away and run away. And also from a clinch position, you've got throws as well, you've got trips. Like there's a lot you can do from a basic clinch position. So watch that video, Muay Thai clinch for beginners, or just do a basic wrestling class a few times. 10 wrestling classes, that'll give with a good coach, you'll learn some stuff here. And then I said never go on the floor. Don't, I'm not even gonna go into it. Like the nuances, do not go on the floor. People think jiu-jitsu is the best thing for self-protection. There are some aspects that are very good, but if you train yourself to get used to lying on your back and you train modern sport jiu-jitsu, which is how jiu-jitsu's turned into in 2024, you could die, so don't. Stay like stand up. The only thing from jiu-jitsu you want to learn is that break falling, stand up technique. That's it. Don't f around on the floor in the street, please. Like just don't. Your triangle's not going to work. And even if it does, next time it won't, I promise. Final little top tip here. All these points are going to seem very counterintuitive. The idea that you're square, come at me. The idea that I stay square at someone, that I'm open to him, especially if he's got a weapon, by the way. Imagine you've got a shank. The idea I'm going to give him all this, it's really counterintuitive. Generally, you'd think go like that. But look, if I miss this one, oh look, that didn't even help me. He could come around here. Look, suddenly I'm short. Boxing is a short sport generally. Even if I try and fight like long like this, I'm still going to be on the back foot. It's hard for me to impose myself against a weapon, against a guy that's going to do whatever he can to really f me up and hurt me. It's hard for me to impose in this bladed stance versus as soon as I square, look, well, I can really start protecting myself like that. Do you get what I mean? So keep going. Look, I'll show you some. Like from here, you got basic techniques to just defend yourself. Keep like trying to like actually shank. Look, you see that? I can get my hips back like this. I can hit him out the way. I'm here like that. Take this weapon here. Take him down here. Square. You want to be square, and it will go against your instinct, but it's the best way to stay alive. And the instinct of you have to go against your rule set. In fighting, here's another point for you. If say me and Henry are friends, which we are, we train every day. If he kicks me slightly too hard or I hit him too hard in sparring, he might say, oh, sorry. Do you know what I mean? I mean, like Henry doesn't because he's a savage, but like, think about your average partner. Say I like hit him hard, oh, sorry man. Like, just even that little subconscious thing, I'm like, yo, you're right, touch gloves. It's like, yo, let's go again. Like I catch him, get him, like you good? Go again. Yeah, do you get what I mean? Like every day you think you're training for combat, but you're programming yourself to like have a threshold. Yeah, you're training yourself to tone it down. Guess what? When a guy's got a knife or he's gonna hurt you and your family, there's none of that. You have to overcome the programming you might have put yourself through that you didn't even know what you were doing. You need to be able to escalate. You need to be able to go like, I'm gonna actually fucking shatter a knee. Like I said, the trick, I hate violence. You gotta understand, I actually hate violence. And like, But I'm programming myself to want to taste his blood. I have to want to hurt him. I have to want to maim him.
The remark is that it's not even that hard. It doesn't require that much force.
Fighting?
No, to hurt someone. It takes like 15 kilos of force to break a jaw.
Right.
So
you have to give yourself permission to do it,
yeah,
is the point.
It's just
so that's,
a mental blockage.
yeah, so this is the real mental block here is like for most of our life growing up in the West, unless you were brought up like a savage, is that you're taught, play nice, Hugo, like, be careful, make sure Jamie's okay, like, come on, like, do you know what I mean? Like most people in school, like, oh, don't be rough, like participation medals and shit. You're just conditioned at a subconscious level. Like all fighting's bad to just not want to hurt someone. Well, if someone has no regard for your well-being, you should absolutely not have regard for them, and you should want to absolutely destroy them for ever thinking that they can threaten you. So yeah, in conclusion, be an apex. Be the guy that is willing to kill, because you have to in these situations. Do everything you can to prevent it, but once it crosses that line, actually desire that you should kill him, even if you don't want to. I don't want to hurt anyone, but in that moment, best believe I'm going to desire to hurt him. You integrate your shadow. You've got to integrate that shadow self, like all the illegal shit that you suppress, you've got to bring it out in these moments. That's what being a warrior is. Doing the shit you don't want to do. I don't want to ever hurt anyone, I really don't. But in this moment, I've got to do what I don't want to do, which is hurt someone because the situation demands from it. That is called being a warrior, is doing the shit you don't want to do. Whether it's hurting someone, whether it's being disciplined, getting up, running, doing a job you don't want to do to pay bills, doesn't matter. It's all the same shit. Mindset, you get me?